All right, so today we're going to be talking about how to simplify complex rational expressions. Now we're going to do one problem, and I'm going to show you two different methods that are outlined on your notes for you today. Okay, so either method works fine. It's just a little bit of principle on how you prefer to work out the problem, not principle, but preference on how you prefer to work out the problem. Okay, so for method one, what method one is all about is looking at your huge fraction as two different problems. So we're going to look first at 1 plus 1 over x, and we are going to add those two fractions together. Then we're going to go to the top, cover up the top, and just worry about the bottom fraction. And then we'll go from there. Okay? All right. So if I'm just looking at the top fraction, 1 plus 1 over x, and I want to add those two together, I need to have a common denominator. So what would my common denominator for the top be?
X. For the top. Oh, X.
X. Okay.
It's like the numerator. What are you talking about? Gary.
So if I'm going to add those, then I need to multiply this 1 by x over x so that now I will have an x in my denominator. All right, so again, we're just ignoring the denominator, this big denominator right now, okay, just focusing on the numerator. Okay, so x over x times 1 is just x over x. Now that I have a common denominator, I can add my numerators, which is x plus 1 over x. So my new numerator is x plus 1 over x. I'm going to put that over here. Okay, now we're going to do the same step, same process with the denominator. Okay, so first step is I'm going to find the LCD. So I've got 1 and 1 over x squared. X squared. Okay, so I need to make this 1 have x squared in the denominator. So I'm going to do that by multiplying by x squared over itself times 1. And then 1 over x squared already has my denominator, so I don't have to worry about that. Just making sure. Okay, making sure. Okay, so that's going to be x squared minus 1 all over x squared if I go ahead and combine my numerators over my LCD. Okay, so I have my new numerator and my new denominator. I'm going to go ahead and write that out, x squared minus 1 over x squared. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to change our perspective. We're going to change the way this problem is written. This is the same thing as saying x plus 1 over x. This fraction bar means divided by. So divided by x squared minus 1 over x squared. Yeah. Now, we've done problems like this before. To divide by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So it's going to be x plus 1 over x times x squared over x squared minus 1. Now, can I factor x squared minus 1? That would be x plus 1, x minus 1.
Yeah.
All right. So next step would be
To cross out.
cancel.
You could cancel out an X on the.
Cancel out one of those x's, right? Okay, so all that I'm left with on top is x and then over x minus 1. And that is my answer.
Cool.
Yay. Okay, that's method 1. All right, now method 2, we're going to do the exact same problem and work it a whole different way, and we'll get the exact same answer. Well, we should. Excuse me?
What's your YouTube channel so I can go on back and watch this?
I'll send it out on. I'll share it with you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So method 2 is different. We're doing the same problem, but we're taking a different action. What we are going to do for method 2 is we're going to look at every single denominator. So here's a denominator and here's a denominator. And we are going to look at these guys and ask ourselves, what is the LCD of all of the denominators? So what would my LCD of x and x squared be? X squared. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply every single part of my expression by x squared, by the LCD. Okay? So it's going to be x squared times 1 plus x squared times 1 over x, all over, on the bottom, same thing, x squared times 1 minus x squared times 1 over x squared. And again, that's perfectly legal. I can do that because I'm multiplying every part of the fraction by the same number. So it's not changing the value of my fraction at all. Okay, now let's look at what happens when I do that. X squared times 1 is just x squared. X squared times 1 over x. X is canceled. And I'm just left with 1x. And on the bottom, x squared.
Wait. Why do the x's cancel if there's an x squared?
Well, x squared times 1 over x. This x would cancel with that x.
Oh, okay.
Make sense? Okay. So then x squared times 1 over x squared, we just did that, would be minus, those would cancel, 1.
Wow.
Okay, on the top I can factor out an x, so that would be x times x plus 1. And on the bottom, I can factor x squared minus 1 to x plus 1 times x minus 1. Now what happens?
You
The
fuck
x,
up.
the plus, x plus 1's cancel.
X plus 1's cancel. And you're left with x over
It's beautiful.
x minus 1. It's beautiful.
Gee, miss, that's just swell.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Okay. Now, what I would like for you to do on your notes page, since you guys have, I gave you a printout of it, I want you to fold it in half. But first, look, there's a problem at the bottom here. I want you to try to do this problem on your own. Choose one of your methods, but fold your paper in half and work that problem out on one half of your paper so we can glue the other half down. But choose which method you want to use, and let's see how we do. And now, everybody is working. The natives are quiet, so I am going to work out the problem on the board behind me so that you can check your answer. I am going to use method 2.
Why are you whispering Satan?
The natives are starting to wake up. We need to hurry.
Oh, no, it's backwards.
Yeah,
Probably say you shouldn't do that.
I don't think it's backwards.
No, it's
Hey, I was doing that.
Yo, 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 yo.
Oi, 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 oi. I think I discovered fire. You definitely discovered fire.
Can a man talk to himself anymore?
Maybe you should do the
Not in the bathroom.
Do the You're gonna do it.
I'm writing Latin right now.
Yeah, math is a different language.
Writing in Latin. Don't you mean Arabic?
Oh, not just like this.
Math is Arabic, isn't it?
Yeah, but
That's what we use.
I'm from the Latin classes, so I'm not gonna associate.
We don't associate with
We don't associate
Hebrews.
with the Arabic classes.
freaking pagans. The pagans.
Oh no, they're not pagans.
Muslims aren't pagan. What are you saying?
They're not.
Come on, no, but my class.
No, but it's blasphemy. Infidels. Launch a crusade quick before they come here.
Sounds like Assassin's Creed.